Well, good evening to those who have joined us in the YouTube room. My name's Donnie, and we're going to get started here in about 22 minutes. I'm getting everything set up. This is the first time we've used this particular feature. So I'm trying to figure out the best way to communicate with you guys if you have questions. We are going to be limited in the other room to 15 folks, so I can take questions out of there. I'm watching both at the same time. Just haven't quite figured out how YouTube's going to let me take a message or a question from this room. So, like I said, we'll get started in about 20 minutes or so. If you got any questions, feel free to jump into the hangout room and ask them there until I figure this other chat part out. Go ahead and talk in YouTube land for a second. If somebody that's in the YouTube here, I've got 5 different viewers. If one of you can text me in the Google chat room, just make sure you can hear me okay. And then the other thing I'll ask too is I'm going to screen in my screen and how clear it is, if it'll be readable. All right, for those of you watching in YouTube land, like I said, I just was talking to the Google folks. We're going to simulcast on both. I'm going to try to get screenshots from both as we go through this. I'm not able to see exactly who's joined us from the YouTube side, and there'll be a few people that join us at the last minute. So there is about a 45-second delay between the two, but we'll try to press on through. So I'm going to give it a couple more minutes to let a couple more folks join in, and then we'll get started. If you have any questions, and you're not at my RWB account, and it's donnie.starling. And like I said, we'll give folks about 2 more minutes, and then we'll get started. Promise to have you done in less than an hour. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started just with some preliminaries. I'm going to use the YouTube here as the primary for the audio because I know there is a delay. So hopefully you can mute your other one real quick if you need to. If you're watching this on both, thanks Jessica for taking a picture. I'm sure that'll end up on Facebook somewhere. I just want to welcome everybody to this training session tonight. I'm the chapter captain out here in wonderful Las Vegas. We were talking on the other side of the conversation that it's wonderful 75 degrees here today, so it's been a rough winter out here in Vegas, but that's the way we like it. I'm here today to introduce the training for gonna go ahead and introduce the training for Unite Us tonight. This is a very, very powerful tool that RWB is in great need of as we move forward. So we've done, myself and Taylor Justice, who's our representative at Unite Us. He's normally on these calls, but he was busy tonight, was not able to join us. But we've done about 25 of these trainings, so you're about to get a pretty quality, refined product. We've been working on them since about November, but that doesn't mean we won't miss anything or I won't miss anything. So feel free to ask me any questions, whatever way you can get a question to me, and we'll go through that. As we go into this project and this process, I'll tell you we are very, very close to importing all of our members into the database. And when that happens, you're going to see a lot of our membership moving onto the system and being able to Unite Us is. Its origins are there was 3 founders, 1 Air Force, 1 Army, and 1 civilian. They all got together after having mixed results with the IT world and the VA as they went through their separation for the military guys, and decided they could make a better system for somebody like Team Red, White, and Blue in order to help us use our ITs better than we already are. So that's how Unite Us came about. It's designed to be a hub and spoke system. It's also designed to be the social networking side. It's going to enhance our social networking tools such as Facebook. We're not getting rid of Facebook. We couldn't do that because that's kind of how we've gotten to where we are. Obviously, in the last year, we've seen a huge growth in Team Red, White, and Blue, and we expect that to continue into this year as well. And so some of you have probably used Excel spreadsheets or Google Hangouts or Google Contacts or even MyEmma. And all of that information is now going to be stored on the backside of the Unite Us platform. And it'll be a little bit more easy for you at the local level to use it, the folks at the regional level, and then up to the national level to see it as well. The third part of the Unite Us website, we won't talk about it much tonight other than this piece here, is there is a referral network system in this. To give you an idea on who the Unite Us folks are also working with, they are very tied into the VA. The VA is currently running a pilot program where 16 of their different locations are trying out Unite Us to use it. They've already seen some pretty great results. So in the world of strategic messaging, if you get a 10% read rate or open rate, not even read, open rate, you're doing really, really good. Those of you using Miami, you realize that the 7 to 8% is a pretty good email read open rate. So the VA has experienced almost double the engagement, 40% open rates, and about 20 to 30% more people responding when they start with the Unite Us platform. So that's just one of the other clients that Unite Us uses as they go through this. They're expecting to roll this out across the VA in 2016. And as we get more and more connections with Team RWB and our local VAs, the local VAs are asking for it, and it's being rolled out a little quicker than the VA actually is looking for. So you'll see here in a second when I flip over to the screen how big Unite Us is. So the other reason that they wanted to kind of help us out with this is their whole model is based on a point paper that was written for the Joint Chiefs of Staff, talking about the veteran support organizations as a sea of goodwill. And I just recently retired, and trying to find anything online to get veteran help. There's a lot of help out there, but trying to find it is very, very tough at times. So you've got to search on Google for veteran support, and you'll probably get 500,000 hits in about half a second. But you've got to click through those individually and try to figure out which ones are actually applicable to you, even which ones are in your local area that are applicable to you. So the Unite Us platform was designed to kind of take some of that and help get rid of those stovepipes and put us into a better situation where you can more easily see what things are available to you, and then also allow our members to identify as veterans or supporters what things they need to connect them with folks that can provide that kind of service, whether it's employment, whether it's healthcare issues or mentorship or anything like that, or in the case of Team RWB, where it's our social and athletic events, we connect with those veterans and veteran supporters, get that, and that's what the Unite Us platform is built around. So that's an introduction of their company. They are a for-profit company. It's important to say that up front. We are one of their clients. However, they have offered these services for the next 2 years as a pro bono to us as we get established and help them get established as well. All the members that are on their founders are all Team RWB members. Taylor actually was one of the founding chapter captains in Philadelphia, so he took a lot of his knowledge from where you guys and gals sit in the leadership roles to build this site. So there's a lot of that built into it. Personally, I've been using the site since about September, and I've had some really good luck with it. Here in Las Vegas, we just started moving our existing members over, and we're starting to use it and find the tools. And as with any transition, that we've had some hiccups, and I'm sure you guys will find a couple glitches every once in a while. And Taylor and team at Unite Us are very committed, as am I. As the project, please let us know ahead of time. So I'm going to go over and switch over on to my screen share to kind of walk through the Unite Us site. As I do that, it's important. We're going to go through this in kind of 2 phases. The first phase is we're going to talk about the social side of the website. The social side, if I can say that out loud, is the side that everybody in the public can see, and it's a lot more than what your membership can see, and your membership will see that and a lot more. So I guess is what I'm trying to say there. Let's see if I can't switch the Google Hangover to my screen share, so I'm gonna have to screen share off YouTube. So basically, this website is open to the public. It's obviously open to the public. We're going to strongly encourage our membership to build a profile on Unite. Required. We wouldn't require that because that's just not something that we need. However, as local leaders, when they do build a profile on this site, that's going to help you be able to know a little bit more about that member, but have them a little bit more involved in some of your planning for your local programs. It's also just going to let them have a few more options that a non-member of the Unite Us site sees. But the good news is if they choose not to because they don't like social media or for whatever personal reason, they'll be able to see 99% of what I'm going to show you today. And that's why we're going to start off by showing you what the public sees when they come to this site. It might sound a little repetitive, but I'm going to try to walk you through what a lot of the screens pretty quickly, but a lot of them have a lot of commonality as we go through them throughout the site. It's a very easy site to use, a very easy site to get around. So first of all, you're on this front screen here. The front screen is just that. It's on any social media. You've got some recommended organizations, some my organizations that I'm currently involved in, some of my events. You'll see in the right-hand corner here, top right-hand corner, that I am signed in as Donnie.starling. Later on, I'm going to switch over and become Las Vegas, my Las Vegas hub, and then I'll show you how to do that as well. But right now, I'm signed in as an individual, As admins, you'll have that ability to switch back and forth as well. And I'll say it again later, but you can just simply roll over here, switch your organization, and you'll be on your organization, just like you can with a Facebook group or page. So this open screen, like I said, most of our members are probably not going to spend a lot of time here because they want to get to the meat and butter and see where your sites are. So, but there's a couple other functions on here that are kind of nice. You can obviously read the stream. You can adjust this to be all post. You can adjust this to be near me or my community. And these are people, not necessarily Team RWB members. Sorry, I'm going to have to mute somebody there because I'm talking to myself and that feels weird. You're gonna, when you log on to your hub, the cool thing about this is there's going to be hundreds, if not thousands, of veterans that or supporters that have signed up on this site already that are not Team RWB members in your local area. So those folks have already said, I need help or can offer help for a veteran, and here's where. So that's already going to be a pretty big population that we can tap into to, you know, get a better support network in your local area. So this is how you would communicate using that. The next thing I'm going to switch over to is the Explore. This website is based partly around Google technology for maps. So there's a big mapping function. So it's going to take a second for this to load. I'm going to zoom out from the Greater Las Vegas area. What you're going to see there is each one of these individual pins that have a service on there is an actual veteran that's signed up. When you see the blue circles, that's more than 10. When you see the yellows, that's less than 100, and then the reds are more than 100. So we're gonna. Oop, that's a little too far. So we'll zoom back in there. So you can kind of see the United States already, and this is going to continue to build out as I'm talking. And again, we have not imported the Team RWB membership roles into this. So a vast majority of the folks that you see on this map that have already connected on this site are not Team RWB members yet, I would say. So I just want to give you kind of an idea of where they're at, and we're going to zoom into each local area or my local area and kind of give you an update on where they're sitting with who that is. So as I talk here, it's continuing to fill in. Obviously, the big constant throughout. You can filter by people. So if you wanted to look in your local area for a retired Army vet and you had a population need there, you could walk through and get to those folks. Or you could just do it by organizations or communities. This search function up here in the top right corner is very easy to use. So the other day I was looking up Lou Nemick, and most of us know him because he sends us emails all the time, Lou Nemick, and I went ahead and I was looking for his profile. I just typed his name in real easy, and he showed up in that. Or if you've got a member that's moving somewhere and you want to see if there's an RWB chapter there, or if you just want to know more about an RWB chapter somewhere else, you can just type Team RWB in this search function and go to the Chicago chapter or the Las Vegas community or just, you know, wherever you needed to see on that. So it's still filling in a little bit, but we're gonna move away from that. The next button over is the post. This is used to post a job or discussions, as it says there, or an event. When I get into the events, which is the last thing I talk about, I'm going to come back to this. But when you want to post an event as an organization and you don't want to spam everybody with email, so that's like a weekly workout for us here in Las Vegas. We use this function here to post an event because it does not send an email notification out to everybody. But again, I'm going to show you that in the end. So I'm going to zoom back into Vegas here just to give you an idea what some of what some of these pins look like. One of the things as this loads that folks get a little concerned about is when you sign up with both Team RWB or Unite Us, part of the sign-in process does ask for your zip code. And now folks get a little swirly because we're talking about zip codes, and now we have some mapping technologies and there's some pins on a map. So let me tell you, the Unite Us folks have built this. So provide your actual address. This pin that's on the map, so that one's mine, and I actually have two, and this one over here by the airport's mine too. That pin is always scrambled every time the screen is refreshed within the zip code that you provide, even if you provide them a hard address. They do not want your, they don't want folks to be able to come to your house and knock on your door. So truth in advertising, that pin over here is mine, that Air Force One. This one over here by the airport is mine, being scrambled. And then the RWB shield here in the middle is our local hub here in Las Vegas. And that's actually set in the middle of the zip code because it's tied to my address because I'm the chapter captain. But those two have never been close to my house. If I had to tell you, really, my house is right up here where my mouse is right now. So it never gets any closer to that. I've had one instance of about 170 folks where they said and it was in a large city, they had just provided a zip code. So it was just by happenstance that it showed up there. And as soon as you hit refresh, it does that again. So it's important to let folks know that is a mapping software involved with this, but it's not going to highlight their location. The locations that it does highlight that are hard pinned are, as I mentioned, our RWB pins will be placed in the center of the zip code provided by the chapter captain, unless you have a hard office, which for the most of us we don't. It's just in Tampa. The VA locations are actual locations. So this is actually a VA clinic in wonderful Las Vegas. Let me switch over. I got to answer a quick question. All right. So the events here, and you're going to see an event if I scroll out just a little bit. You'll see what an event looks like. It's one of these orange circles, and that's actual event. That's one of our events that we're putting on coming up here. It's our social event in a couple weeks. So that's just an idea of how the map works. It's pretty simple. This map will end up feeding, when it's filtered off and it's just the RWB chapters and communities and organizing areas, this map will feed our .org site, the teamrwb.org site. And we'll talk a little bit more as I get through the presentation a little bit later. So I can't really pause and ask for questions, so I'll take those at the end. So moving along, I'm going to go ahead and go back to the home page for a second. And then I'm going to walk you through real quickly what it looks like when a member is signing up. So we did that was designed for all of your local membership, not for the admin. The leadership is getting the training here, but your local members, that 5.5 minute mile or 7.5 minute mile was designed for them. There's also an electronic flyer that goes along with that, and the purpose behind both of those was to provide you some tools, some ammunition to tell them how to sign up on this website, answer some of those hard questions that are out there. So I'm going to show you real quick what is asked for when you sign up on Unite Us. And again, you don't have to become the local leadership has to become a member because you're going to be admins on the site. But our regular members do not have to be whatsoever. So when you come onto the site, no matter how you enter the Unite Us site, it's going to ask you if you want to join, like any other site. And the first thing that's going to come up prior to the email, you'll provide that. It'll bring you to this screen right here. You'll identify which branch you served with or are serving with or are a supporter of. You're going to identify what your affiliation was, your gender, your birthday, and then about you is not required. Neither is your street address. And then your zip code is required because that's a requirement for Team RWB, and it's also a requirement that Unite Us has. Marital status is not required, and if you choose to upload a picture, feel free. At that point, our membership would hit continue. It's going to take you to the next screen, and everything is not required to sign up. It is how the Unite Us folks, Unite Us team, classifies their how people are going to get help. So it's a pretty simple column that says, I need assistance with, I can assist with. The cool thing about this screen, and the one I like to focus on the most, is probably the end of February, we're going to have a screen very similar to this that's going to be just on the RWB side, just for our members. That's going to list all the sports, primarily what we offer in the athletic camps with a few others. And the one side of the column is sports that I participate in. The other side of the column is going to say sports that I coach in. And that way, that annual survey monkey survey that we all do to try to figure out what our members do is right there front and center. Our members can do that, update that in their profile as they see fit. And it'll help you communicate better with the folks out there. Like if you just want to send out a running email or just send out a try me email. So like I said, back to the Unite Us sign up. None of these screens, nothing on this screen is required. If they leave it blank, not a problem. So they would then hit continue. As they move to the continue screen, the next screen, their profile has in effect been built on the Unite Us. So how do they become a member of your local hub? So when they sign up, they're probably going to be looking for you. They're probably going to email from you, and we'll provide you those templates as the time gets closer. And the system's actually going to email them as well. The back end side of the software we're about to go into assigns everybody into buckets based on their zip code. So based on your zip code, we know there's an RWB organization near you, and then we'll connect you into that organization and then put you into the proper bucket behind it. The folks that don't have organizing areas, communities, or chapters will be thrown into a bigger pot, and Lou Nemec will be responsible for doling those out, making sure that those folks are getting the attention that they need. So as you guys get logged onto the site, and in the next coming week or so, you're going to get an email from either myself or Taylor Justice, the information on how to get onto your hub. At that point, you're going to log yourself on as a profile, build yourself a profile if you haven't already, and then you're going to be able to have access as the admin on the site. So when you do that and you'll follow the directions, you'll have the ability here to switch back and forth. So I'm going to switch over to the Las Vegas hub, and because I know it's probably hard to visualize what we're talking about, I'm actually going to go to our hub and kind of give you an idea of what the end result is on what your hub is going to look very similar to. So one of the things you'll see here is my screen's a little big, but you know, we've got a nice picture here in Las Vegas. The Harley-Davidson folks just built one of their bigger stores. So now when you come to Vegas, you can't hardly take a picture in front of our beautiful sign without getting the Harley-Davidson sign in the background. You've got different, and I'm going to walk you through each one of these sections and how you build them and what you might want to put on them. And then you've got at the very bottom here, you've got a whole list of the events that you have coming up. All of this is tailorable. All of this is can be set up by your local admin. This whole site took me about 15, 20 minutes to set up for the Las Vegas hub. So that is pretty important to look. So the other cool thing about this site is, and one of the things that the folks at the executive level were kind of worried about, not necessarily worried about, but wanted to protect, was a lot of our local leadership wanted to have a local public-facing website, because we've got some really smart people in the IT world, and we have abilities to build these websites. But in the past, RWB has not had the comfort level to be able to control, not necessarily control those, but have that public-facing website. And in that, I actually mean that this is, you know, web search optimized. So when somebody Googles Team RWB Las Vegas, when you come up on Google, my hub should come up on the top page of that, or the second page of that search. The same thing for any one of your locations there. So this allows us to have a public-facing website. Now, the profiles that people build on here are not public-facing. If you are a member of the Unite Us platform, then you will be able to see some of the profiles of the people that are on there. If you're not a member, they're not going to be able to see your profile. So that's just one of the ways that they make sure that we ensure everybody's security of their information. As we build this, it's important that it is a social media tool, and that our members should only share what they want to share, what they feel comfortable sharing, just like they would with any other social media type. So one of the things you'll notice is this organizational tools tab comes up on the top, because I'm an admin and it's going to let me get into the admin tools. So if I click down and click on community management, it's going to take us into the back end side of the software, which is where all the magic happens, where your membership roles are kept. So as this loads, you're going to see a dashboard that pops up. I'm going to walk you through each part of this. Part of this is going to change as we get more evolved into the system. The numbers and the going to be more toward what we report every month. And the goal there is to get rid of some of that monthly reporting data that we have to do and automate it. So your regional director just grabs it automatically, and they know all those numbers as well. So these will change as we ask the Unite Us folks to adjust them for us. The center of the screen is upcoming events for the organization. As you can see, we have quite a few things. It's going to be a huge event for RWB, Team Rubicon, and the mission continues all across the United States and even the world too. So the next thing I want you to focus on is this members list right here. I'm going to go through the definitions of each one of these. They're not as important, but it's important for folks to know that, what they mean, so they hear it once, and if you forget, you can always ask again. So the first column is, it just says members. What this is they are members of Team RWB first, and then they have chosen to build a profile on Unite Us. And remember, it's not mandatory that they do that. So that's just the folks that you have in your existing membership that has chosen to build a profile on Unite Us. So you have the most information about them. The next column down is followers, and followers are just that. They're members of the Unite Us profile that are following your page. So if you travel instead of joining it, you could join if you want. No harm, no foul. The system is smart enough to not to count you in both places, which is a great leap forward from the system we don't have now. But the followers is just followers. The next column is going to be the bulk, and we believe this will be true throughout. The bulk of your membership that have not. They're members of Team RWB, but they have not built a Unite Us profile. So they're going to show up as pending members. So you have the ability to contact them via email. They have the ability to come onto the hub and see the hub. And they have all the functions minus one or two functions, and I'll try to illuminate those as we go through. But those are your membership that have not built a profile. And again, we never are shooting for that number to be 0. We actually expect that number will be higher than your members that do build a profile. That's kind of the standard that we're looking for. The next company will have the ability to clear people onto the actual hub, information hub here on Unite Us for your local area. And this is the same as a Facebook group when you're trying to approve people through. So that's the quick dashboard screen. So moving across here in the middle is kind of how you move around. So the next one is your members tab. I'll click on that real quick. Start moving over. So this is your membership roles. As you can see, we have not imported the data. When we do import the data, we'll let you know. It's going to happen in the next week, we hope. But what we've done is take the national level data from when folks signed up, and we've got that in 2 high-rise and 1 in Miami. And then we've combined it with your local files if you've provided them, got rid of all the duplicates, or we will be getting rid of all the duplicates, and then that's what's going to get posted in here. So when you get, when we do these numbers are going to go from 27, and here in Vegas, I have a membership of about 330. I'll see that jump up to about 330, and all my membership that I've had in the past via my Excel spreadsheet will be populated in here with most of that data in there. So I'm going to walk through the screen real quick. So applications is the same as before. If you click on that and there's a number next to it, it's going to come up. You're going to see a list of folks here that have built a profile and they want to join your local hub. You'd check next to their name and hit approve. Pretty simple. The next screen that this is kind of cool about is add new members. So as I click on that, say you're out at a local running event or a try or even just an expo or social event, and some folks come up to you and ask you, you know, what is this Team RWB all about? So you can right there go, hey, well, this is what we are all about. Would you be interested in joining us? They say yes, so you just simply type in their name here. Email on your tablet or smartphone or anywhere on a laptop. I'll use my RWB one. You simply hit OK. This does not send the message yet. It just puts it in the two column. And then you go around the rest of your business for the rest of the night or the rest of the race, or you continue to grow the list. So at some point later on in the day, you'll go back and hit send invitation, and then that individual, his information has been saved into your database. You'll have the ability to contact them, and they'll have the ability to come onto the site and join your hub and follow you more and become members of Team RWB if they choose to. And we're going to talk about the sign-in process a little bit later on, but that's just one function that's on this member tab that allows you to sign up new members as you're out and about. So going back to the members tab, quick. On the screen, this message is tailorable. We've provided you just a basic one, but it's tailorable to however your local area would like to see it. So going back to the members screen, for the next 3 tabs, the members, the communication, and the events tab, these filters are all exactly the same. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time going over them now. First of all, you can create a filter and save it. So there's certain people you always want to contact. You can save that as a filter. You can roll your folks out or filter them by whether they're members or followers. This pending invited, pending on board, pending organic, I wouldn't worry about it right now. When you get your membership imported, all the ones that are your members are going to be checked off, and we'll get you further guidance on what those terms all mean. You can filter by join date. So if you're a chapter captain and maybe you and grab them and send them a message through the system, or choose to message them through your Google account. You can filter by branch, gender, interest, and eventually there'll be some other columns here that you can sort by that'll be universal across all of Team RWB. So that's just the different filters across. If I want to click on I'm going to click on one of my members here. If I can find her, my athletic director. So when it comes up, it's going to show me some basic information about Ann, one of my rock stars. The information she provided, it's going to give me a quick overview on this screen of who she is and what she provided on her profile. If I scroll all the way down to the bottom, I can go look at her whole profile if I wanted to. But this is kind of the admin back-end side that we can see it there. It's kind of the summary. And again, all your admin folks are going to be a team and have access to this. So there's a couple options here underneath Ann's name or picture. I can send her a message within the system, just like Messenger and Facebook. I can view her profile. If I want to move her because she's moving somewhere else, her husband's active duty and they're moving somewhere else, I can move her. When you click on that, it asks you what chapter they're going to. This function, obviously, we haven't had before, but we do have now, or we will have now. It's only at the admin level that they can do that. But eventually, we're going to roll it out so the actual member can move themselves as well. But right now, it's just the admins that can move them. I can click on Remove Member if I wanted to kick Ann out, which I wouldn't because she does half of our work. And then right here is the part where your chapter captain or the chapter captains will make the other folks admin or anybody you deem necessary. You'll just click on that and change it to is admin or is not. Messages. I sent a test message to Ann the other day to make sure it works. This is messages you've sent inside the system, not necessarily emails, but messages. It's going to tell me how many times she's logged on. Like I said, she's a rock star, so she's been on the site quite a bit. And then the final section is just the notes area. And this, again, is only visible to the admin, not to the actual member. And it's just ways for your admin team to keep notes on, you know, Ann's the athletic director, and she's done da-da-da-da and stuff like that. Some organizations that we've talked to are probably going to use this for tracking volunteer hours. And you're more than welcome to use that however you see fit. No guidance necessary on that. So that's the membership. And again, all your memberships will be listed in here. You'll be able to sort through them and select on them as you see fit. So the next tab, I'm going to skip over profile because I like to talk about that one last. As I mentioned, or I should have mentioned, in the past, we have used MyEmma and Gmail to send out our strategic messaging. I have not been a MyEmma guy or gal or guy, just because that's not the system that I've used. I've used Gmail for all my newsletters. What we are going to strongly encourage that you do most of your newsletters and your mass emails from this system, because it's going to allow you to kind of track some of that data. All your membership information is in there. It's a little more secure than your Google Thumb Drive or whatever you've got that you got your Excel spreadsheet on. We're not saying that's wrong. We're saying this is just a little more secure. But you're going to be able to create all your messages on here. So if it comes time, let me explain the screen a little bit real quick. So obviously, as you can see here, we've not sent a whole lot of message out of here because we don't have our membership on here all the way. But you've got messages sent, open rate, and again, 10% is a great open rate. If you can get higher than 10%, then you're doing really, really good. That's just a standard across the community. Members receiving, and that'll obviously go up as well. These are a couple of the messages. You can see that the last one I sent out was 100% open rate, so that was good. The other nice function is you can save a message. And by saving a message, I can write my chapter captain words in there. And then my athletic director can add her part. My social director can add theirs. And everybody down the line can add it. And then when we're all ready, I can get back on the site. And I can shoot the message out to everybody, or one of them can as well. So this will give you the ability to save messages, let your leadership team work on them. The other part that's interesting on this is we will have some templates for you. So as you go to build your newsletters, the templates will already be built into here. So they're very fancy because we want it to be easy to use. But the product that it sends out looks very much like the MyEmma does now. And we've all got emails either through the operational updates or the Team RWB national emails that goes out. Looks very similar to that, other than on the bottom it says powered by Unite Us rather than saying sent by MyEmma. So if you're ready to create a message, all you do is click on the Create a Message tab button. As the screen comes up here, again, it's very, very simple. The first thing that you would do is add in a title for this, so just call it the newsletter. The next thing here is a text box. You can add in whatever wording you want to put in this. There's some formatting you can do. The hyperlinks button right here can be hyperlinked to emails or websites. The cool thing is when an email comes out from this system, if somebody clicks on it, letters, and sometimes I don't get them done on time, but I can tell my membership that once a week, come on, check our hub, and you'll have the most up-to-date information there is out there. And that's what we've designed this. It's all in one place. It's all easily controlled. It's vetted by the admin, so that's just one of the functions we have going forward. There is one drawback to this system that I found, and it's right here. There is no way to currently attach an email or attach a file, whether that's a data file or a picture file. The Unite Us folks have that, and they're working on it. We're expecting that in the next couple months, but for the time being, we won't have the ability to attach in a file quite yet. So you would type in whatever you wanted to type in, and then you could go on to selecting your recipients. To do that, you just click on the recipients, and that screen that you saw in the membership tab is going to come up again, and you can go through the different folks that you want to send it to. If you want to filter it, you can. If you want to advanced selection, you can actually pick people, say, I want to send it to Zach, Jason, and Kate. Then I could go over there and send the message. Or if I wanted to send it to everybody, I would just say select all, and the message goes out. The message does have a slight delay. It does not go out instantly. It goes out within the hour, and that's just so it can get messaged and packaged properly and sent out to the different members. So, but again, you can filter through each one of those, and eventually we're going to have topics like sporting, veteran status, and things like that over in this column, so you'll be able to filter to a certain audience if you choose to, and then you can always save those filters as well, and use them again and again. So that's simply how you send out a message. It's really not that hard. It's just like writing an email. Again, that would show up in here. Page is going to load here. It normally takes a little bit longer than the communications page. So the first screen that comes up is just a quick snapshot. I'll answer a few questions that we get on this quite regularly. Is currently we do not have the ability to download this into Google Calendar, but it's coming soon. It's just that's the way it's going to work. Going forward, we are going to stop posting things in the Facebook events section that are endorsed events. And the reason we're going to do that is to use this software properly, we need to build the events in here, post them or share them with your Facebook stream, and then let the communication start from here, because that'll draw people back in. That's how the VA has gotten their great success in using this system, because it's more than just a RSVP yes on Facebook, and we all know that that could mean 500,000 different things. It's going to actually mean that they're thinking about it, but we're going to start in those conversations on Unite Us. Those are for your main RWB local events. So what we've done here in Vegas is that's my annual hike, or my weekly hike, my weekly workouts, my monthly social, my monthly hike, my monthly trail run. All of that's going to start on here. So as we have members that want to share other local events, we're letting them share those events on the Facebook events page. And we're making sure the rest of our membership know that those events are on there. They're more than welcome. They're endorsed by us. Obviously, they can attend. We encourage them to get out and get involved. But those are not the actual official events of the month. And then we would prefer them to go to, if they had to choose one, go to the event that we post on the Unite Us site. So when we share this with Facebook, it does just show up in your stream, does not go into your events. We would go into the events if Mark Zuckerberg would let us, but he's too busy giving $75 million to his wife's favorite charity to answer my calls, and has not given us the ability to do that yet. And the Unite Us folks are doing the same thing, trying to get into that. But currently, these will not be loaded into your Facebook events on your Facebook group pages, but they will be on the stream. What we found works is you build the event however far out. 2 weeks before, whoever built it goes back in and shares it with the stream again, and a couple of days before, you share it with the stream again, just to keep it fresh in everybody's mind, the same way that we share events now on Facebook and drag them from the events page back onto the main stream. So that's kind of the vision going forward on that. The rest of the screen just has some of the open rates, invitations sent, and a synopsis of some of those events sent. You just simply hit create new event. You can also save these events to a draft to let other folks on your team look at them. As this screen comes up, it'll take it a second, but it'll show red titles over the things that are required. So you must have an event title. So we'll call it test. You need to have a start and end date. So we'll just pick one next Friday the 13th. Interest. Right now, there's not a social option. We're getting that added in there. It'll be meeting vets, meeting supporters, or sports and fitness is our corner of the world. Same text box as before. You'd enter in all the information. And I'm going to show you what one of these looks like here when we pop out of this screen. But you would just type all the information you need. If you're not going to listen to any other part of this conversation because you're busy and it's a Friday night, I'd ask you to listen to this next part because it's probably the most. To put in a real address. This is a Google-based product, so if the address works in Google, it's probably going to work on here. You can't put in Bob's house because Bob's house is probably not in Google yet, unless Bob's really connected. If you don't do that, your event pin is going to get dropped in Brooklyn, New York, because that's where Unite Us is founded out of. So the folks in Brooklyn are not going to know anywhere where Bob's house is, and your folks aren't going to be able to see that pin because it's not in your local area. It's in Brooklyn. They wouldn't know to look there. So it's important you put an address in there. As we've been using this, it's not that daunting. It actually works out pretty good. Like I said, if you can find it in Google using that address, it's going to find it in here. The next thing is privacy, and you can see the red bars pop in now to kind of tell you what's required. Privacy, you have the option to make it private, and in that case, it's just to the people you send it to and just to the people in your organization. Or I'm sorry, just the people you send it to. Because there's already a ton of members on Unite Us that aren't RWB members, I would highly recommend, and we're strongly encouraging you make it as public as possible, as much as possible, because that's how we get new members and that's how we have the better impact. Now, if you've got strong feelings one way or another, I encourage you to talk those over with your regional director. I've talked to all of them. They've all got just slightly differing views on this, but for the most part, we want to be safe, but we also want to be as public as possible. For example, out here in the West, Georgina's been our RD for the last couple of months, and she doesn't like private events, especially when we're food that RWB is paying for, because that's not the purpose of that food. That purpose is to impact the lives of veterans, and that's what that money should be used for. So she encourages us to make these as public as possible. You build your event out. Again, no way to add a picture yet, but that's coming. Just like with the email, you come back to invitees. And then again, it's the same screen that you saw in the members tab and the communications tab, which is going to allow you to filter out who you want to send it to, or you can send it to everybody. So same thing there. And funny enough, 2 people have joined us since we looked at the last screen. So you'll pick who you want, hit the send invite, and that invite goes out to everybody. Again, the same logic applies. It does take about an hour for it to get packaged and sent out. So you'd be wanting to send these obviously an hour before you, or more than an hour before you start an event. So that's the event part. So after you build it, let me go back and I'll show you real quick what it looks like when you send it out. We'll pick our upcoming, actually I'm going to back out of this screen real quick. I'll pick our upcoming social event. Go on my screen, click on events. Come down to our upcoming social dinner. So as you see here, this is what comes up on the screen. This is very similar to the email that they get. You can see the time and the place. You can see the location. It's going to be out in Summerlin, Las Vegas. This is a good indicator that you've got it in the right place. The other indicator is if you're not in the East Coast time zone and these times here don't make sense with your local time zone, they're making more sense in the East Coast, it's probably defaulted to Brooklyn, which means this pin would look in Brooklyn, not here in Las Vegas. So that's one way you can check it there as well. Your members will have the ability to do attend or not attend. We haven't figured out, good question, Ron, I'll get back into. We haven't figured out exactly how to handle this as far as getting over the RSVP people that never show up, or the people that RSVP or don't RSVP and don't show up. Unite Us has got a really good team, but they haven't quite figured out, common courtesies and manners yet, but they're working on it. So we're still going to have the ability to have people RSVP and then not show up. But the good news is about the end of February, what you're going to see is an ability to edit the attendance numbers, whether you as the chapter captain or you as the host of the event. So you can put the real numbers in there post-event, and then your chapter captain can just grab that from one of the previous screens to do their monthly report and as they're adding things up. So that's an example of what an event looks like. So I'm going to go back into the organizational tools, community management. And give it a second to load here. So we've talked about members, communications, and events. Widgets, we're not currently using that functionality, but we will get to that shortly. If we need one, we'll add one. This is a good time as I load the profile. This currently does not have an app associated with it. However, the website is mobile friendly. I use a Droid phone, and it is not the most mobile friendly site I use. It's not USAA by any means, but it is. Once you figure out the little quirks, because it's mobile, it does work on a mobile thing. The Unite Us team, the development team, is working very hard to field an app. Our experience with them to date has been awesome. They don't put something out until it works, and it works right. So when we do get an app, it's going to be very useful to us. It's going to have a lot of our inputs friendly. There is a few quirks depending on what iOS you're using, but we're working to get those smoothed out. So I've gone back to organizational tools, community management, and I've clicked on the profile tab. So this is how you build your information hub or the profile that you're actually using. So, and this is for, again, your organization. So it's set up as a mini blogging tool, and you can select different sections. So when you saw that screen before, you saw the what we do section, and you can see here you just put in your words. There's our mission statement, and then down below the pictures that I've attached to it. You cannot attach pictures from this screen, but you can attach pictures to your sections, and I'll show you how to do that on the next tab. If you wanted to build a new section, you would just go here to add a section, click on that. You could add a new section. This part here, which seems like pretty clear English, has given a lot of people a lot of grief lately. Visible on profile means it's visible on the profile. If this box is checked, everybody in the world can see it on the profile. If it's not checked, nobody can see it but the admin. So again, this is a function to use it to edit it and let your other teammates look at it and fix it before you make it visible. But again, that's got to be checked for it to be out there. I'm not sure why that keeps hanging people up, but it does. You can type in your words. You can hyperlink to emails, hyperlink to Unite Us profiles, hyperlink to Facebook. You can hyperlink all over the place, and it works out really good. If you want to delete it, you can delete it, which we will for this one. So you also have the ability to move these up and down. So if I really want to push my athletic and leadership camp section, I can move that up to the top of the screen and drop it right, or I can move it back down to the bottom. It becomes the last thing people see. So you can move that all around. So that's how you build the separate sections. How you do that is going to be up to you. Yeah, it's going to be up to you. So the next section over is photos. So one of the things, and I haven't said this a whole lot, but one of the things this Unite Us platform is, it is not going to be our repository for pictures. Facebook does a great job with that. It allows all of our members to see them and download them. The Unite Us profile or the Unite Us platform is just not built for that. But we are going to use it to move over our more important pictures. And you'll be able to move them over as admin. Only admin can add pictures to the Unite Us profile. The most important ones will move over. So when you go to the photos, the first thing you can do is choose a file. In the next couple months, you're going to be able to do multiple uploads. Upload the picture. You can click on it. So we'll look at this fine gentleman here. We'll click on his picture, and then I can add it to whichever section I want to on there, and it'll be part of that section. So right now it's part of our hashtag join like do. But we can also add it into our picture section or our leadership section, however we want. I click on that, and it's now part of that section. Now you're able to see that on the section. If I choose I don't want it, I can just simply click on this X, and then it goes away. And those are the pictures that we've uploaded to our site. Same thing can be done with videos. One of the cool things that I never even thought about until a couple training sessions ago is a lot of local areas have local welcome videos. This is a great place to put those, to see them. The only thing of caution that I'll put from the videos, there's nothing copyrighted in them. So my own personal example is I posted a video of us running Ragnar, and it had a great OAR song in the background to it. And because we are a professional organization, RWB, that violates some laws and copyright infringement. So it's important, and JJ pointed it out to me, it's important that we not do that so we don't have the lawyers busy and getting on us. So just be smart about that as you are. make sure you're following all the branding rules that we all live by. So the final tab, or the last tab here, is the header. This is the picture that sits in the back on Facebook. This would be your profile picture in the back of the screen. It is designed to be as a watermark, so it is going to be fuzzy on the bottom, as you'll see on ours when I go back to it. It does give you the picture size there for you can add to it, but that's where you add that picture in there. The last tab is your eligibility tab. We're not looking at this to be used very often in the RWB world. Most of us won't. This would probably be for our tri club, the functional fitness clubs, the biking club, and that kind of thing, where they can list different means of ways to be eligible for this club. Not going to be used for most of our local areas. So all that being said, that's how you build your profile. It's really that simple. When it's all said and done, I'll go back to what ours looks like. You know, it comes out looking like this, and you can see where it's kind of hazy on the bottom. These are the same two pictures, just one stretched out, and this is the profile picture is hazy here. So the final thing that I want to show you before we switch over to the Hangouts and take questions is how do I share an event, or how do I share a section? So let's just pick a section. I'm going to leadership team section. I'll click on that. It's going to come up in its own little section here. It's got all my fine leaders in it. And let's say I want to share this on Facebook. I just simply click on the Facebook button, and that screen that we all know and love for Facebook pops up. As it pops up, you're going to be able to pick where you want to post it in a group, and then Team RWB Las Vegas, and then say something about it, and it's going to post it right onto the stream of your Facebook page. Pretty simple. You can do that with an event, a section, pictures. You can do that with anything on this. So I'm not going to share it because my folks already know their leadership team. You can do the same thing with Twitter, Google+, LinkedIn, and then you can also just choose to send this in an email to somebody. If you want to send this to an email, boom, 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 and it sends it out. The cool thing is when that goes to Facebook, right back to here, right back to this home page, this hub, and all that information they were looking for is right there, and there's our leadership team. We're going to do this the most with our events. I just picked a section to show you. The events work the exact same way. So with that, again, as I wrap this up, and we'll turn off the recording, and I'll switch back over to the Google Hangouts for questions. I've got one question in there already that I'm going to get to before I end. But again, this is not designed to be the ultimate solution. You guys and gals are the ultimate solution for Team RWB. You always have been. And we intend that to stay the same. Those personal one-on-one interactions that have made us so popular are what is the solution. This is just a tool to allow you to do that a little better. There is going to be some growing pains. We realize that. But if you're spending more than through email or any way you can get a hold of me, we'll forward that to Taylor. Don't hesitate to hit the contact now on the Unite Us site, and any one of their reps is going to contact you to get a problem fixed. If you've got suggestions, please forward them to me or to Taylor and them at the Unite Us team, and they will be able to help you out and get you going in the right direction. Our timeline going forward before we end up here is we are going to import the files, the membership files, in the next week. What that means is all your members data is going to go into this system, and it's time to start moving folks over. Unfortunately for this group, because you guys are a little bit later on in the training, it's a little bit shorter timeline if you haven't got your hubs up. I'll tell you, all the hubs are online right now except for 3, and those are the overseas locations. And we're working on getting those up soon. But they're already tailored to all the chapter captains to make sure that they know how to get on, and then how to get the rest of their leadership on and up on this site. Because what we don't want folks doing is going to a site that's empty and not occupied. The good news is it looks professional already, so it doesn't look unoccupied unless you've just been dealing with the system a little bit. So I'm going to answer one question real quick from Ron. Talks about bases and building numbers. Unfortunately, since the military, and especially up at Isle Center Wainwright, aren't real happy when Google drives around and takes pictures of everything, those building numbers on military bases are probably not going to be in the Google database. So you'll need to use a hard address of some sort. A building number. Building number is probably not going to work. I have been able to get the zip code, the lat long, off of Google and plug that into the locations, and that works as well. So you have a couple issues with that overseas, but Alaska shouldn't be an issue for that. So at this point, I'm going to stop the broadcast here on YouTube, and I'm going to switch over in about 45 seconds. You'll see me on the Google side, or you probably see me there now too, and then take any questions you guys might have. But thanks for listening to the training tonight, and I appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in a few minutes on the Google side.